Imagine being told you don't belong, not just by your neighbours, but by the very country you call home. That's the reality for the Rohingya people. For decades, they've faced persecution and displacement in Myanmar, a saga fueled by deep-seated prejudice and a system designed to erase their very existence. This isn't just a humanitarian crisis, it's a human rights catastrophe. The world can't stand idly by while history repeats itself. Over the course of this video, we're going to delve into the complexities of this crisis, exploring potential solutions and why finding a just and lasting resolution is not just a moral imperative, but a global responsibility. Look, let's be clear. Myanmar's treatment of the Rohingya is abhorrent. It's a textbook case of ethnic cleansing, and the international community can't keep looking the other way. We need to turn up the heat. Now, I'm not talking about some strongly worded letter. Those are about as effective as a screen door on a submarine. We're talking targeted sanctions against those responsible for this humanitarian nightmare. And let's not forget the power of the UN. Sure, it has its flaws, but it's still the biggest game in town. We need the UN to step up its mediation efforts, bringing Myanmar to the table and hammering out a deal that guarantees the Rohingyas' safety and rights. This isn't about playing nice, it's about applying real pressure where it hurts. Because let's face it, folks, when a country is more interested in clinging to power than protecting its own people, sometimes the only language they understand is the language of consequences. Now let's talk about Myanmar, specifically that whole citizenship thing, because denying an entire population their basic rights based on ethnicity, that's not just bad policy, it's morally bankrupt. Myanmar needs to take a long, hard look in the mirror and realize that the Rohingya are not the problem. They're a part of the solution. Repealing that discriminatory 1982 citizenship law is a good place to start. It's time to right this historical wrong and recognize the Rohingya as equal citizens. But that's just the first step. We need to bridge the divide that's been allowed to fester for far too long. Education and integration programs can play a vital role here, fostering understanding and empathy between communities. Look, I get it. This is a long shot. Reconciliation takes time, especially after decades of mistrust and violence. But it's the only way forward if Myanmar truly wants to heal its own divisions. What if the Rohingya could chart their own course? What if they had a say in their own destiny? The idea of an autonomous region within Myanmar isn't new, but it's one that deserves serious consideration. Imagine a place where the Rohingya can preserve their culture, practice their faith and govern themselves free from persecution and fear. Now, this doesn't mean abandoning all hope of a unified Myanmar. It's about finding a solution that works for everyone, one that respects the Rohingya's right to self-determination. And let's not forget the power of international recognition. The Rohingya, as a distinct and persecuted group, have a strong case to make under international law. This is about more than just borders on a map. It's about ensuring their fundamental human rights are protected. This path won't be easy. It'll require tough negotiations, compromises, and a willingness from all sides to embrace a new chapter. But the potential rewards, the chance to create a more just and equitable future for the Rohingya, make it a fight worth having. Let's face it, Myanmar's neighbours can't ignore this crisis any longer. Bangladesh, in particular, has borne the brunt of the Rohingya exodus, showing incredible generosity in the face of unimaginable challenges. But they can't do it alone. This isn't just a Bangladeshi problem, it's a regional one, and it demands a regional solution. We need to see a coordinated effort with countries working together to support Rohingya refugees and find durable solutions. And that includes exploring resettlement options if a safe and dignified return to Myanmar proves impossible. ASEAN, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, has a crucial role to play here. They can use their diplomatic muscle to push for dialogue, mediate between Myanmar and the international community, and help forge a path towards lasting peace. This is about more than just sharing the burden. It's about recognizing our shared humanity. Because in the end, the Rohingya crisis is a test of our collective conscience, a measure of our willingness to stand up for what's right, even when it's difficult. Okay, let's address the elephant in the room. Could there ever be a separate Rohingya state? Honestly, it's a long shot, like trying to sink a free throw from the parking lot. The obstacles are enormous. First, you need Myanmar to agree to basically give up a chunk of its territory. Good luck with that. Then, you need the international community to unanimously recognize this new nation. Have you met the international community? They can't even agree on what day it is, let alone something this complex. And even if, by some miracle, those hurdles are cleared, the logistics are daunting. You're talking about carving out a country, establishing infrastructure, ensuring its security. It's a massive undertaking. And this is a big but, the very fact that we're even discussing this shows just how desperate the situation has become. If all other avenues fail, if the Rohingya remain stateless and persecuted, could this become the only viable option? It's a question that, however improbable, cannot be ignored. Look, the reality is this. Returning to Myanmar may not be possible for many Rohingya. And if that's the case, we need to make sure they have a future, not just a present, in their host countries. This means going beyond temporary shelters and emergency aid. It's about creating opportunities for Rohingya refugees to rebuild their lives with dignity and hope. Access to education, healthcare and job training is crucial. We need to empower them, not just house them. This requires a long-term commitment from host countries and the international community. And it means ensuring that Rohingya refugees have a voice, that their needs and aspirations are heard and addressed. This is about more than just providing basic necessities. It's about investing in human potential, about recognizing that the Rohingya are not a burden, but a resilient people with talents and dreams, just like anyone else. Let's give them the chance to thrive, not just survive. The Rohingya crisis is a complex web, a tangled knot of history, politics and human suffering. There's no easy fix, no magic bullet. But one thing is clear, the status quo is unacceptable. We need a multi-pronged approach, relentless international pressure on Myanmar, genuine efforts at integration or autonomy, and unwavering support for host countries. The world must speak with one voice, demanding justice and lasting solutions for the Rohingya people. Their plight is a test for all of us, a measure of our humanity. Let's not fail them.